I was running to get here on time. Hello, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy today Pumla is joining us. And we're going to talk about the path of the Sangoma, what a Sangoma is, and then also how it is similar to the path of the yogi. So Pumla joined our 200-hour teacher training this year. They're almost done now. We're busy with practicals and they'll be writing their exams soon. So she's going to tell us how these are similar, perhaps some of the yogic stories, how it's similar to our stories in Africa, the philosophies, how they correlate, the sages, and all those beautiful things. I just hope that she is ready to join us. Let me just see if she's here. No, not yet. Okay, we're going to wait a little bit longer and hopefully she'll join us soon. Okay, so tomorrow maybe just give her a call and make sure she gets on. Okay, so maybe let's talk about who you would like to see on the chat next. If you are doing anything interesting or if you feel that there is a message that is really calling to you and that you want to share with the world, then please get in contact with me and let's have a chat. I'm interested in anything interesting, anything alternative, anything different, anything health-wise, anything yogic. Let us know what you would like to share with us. Okay, so Pumla is very new to Instagram, so I'm not sure if she knows where to go. Oh, maybe Blue? You mean Blue from the dreadlocks? I actually did ask her, yeah, and she was interested. So maybe we'll give her a call next week. I'm not sure where. Look at my friend. This is Kenji. He loves sitting on my shoulder. Hey, come and say hello. He's just a old little fluff ball. Okay. And he loves catching my dreads and ruining it. Okay, Pumla, where are you, lady? Talking about beauty. You know, she's a very interesting lady. She's traveled on a boat all over the world. She lived in the Caribbean for a long time, and that's where her dread journey started. So I think that she is gonna be able to share some really beautiful experiences with us. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna get her on next week. Pumla is joining now, so she is on her way. She's also got a very interesting view on the world. And you know, when you do dreadlocks, it takes like sometimes 2 days, depending on what you want to do. Sometimes 4 hours, you know. But I've spent many hours with her and talking about very interesting things. So yes, she's definitely going to be on the show soon. Okay, so I think you realize what the name of your account is. Hello? Yay, what happened? Where were you?
I was busy with technology, you know me. I can't see myself though. Can you see? I see you.
Okay.
Am I supposed to see both of us?
Yes, I'm not sure why that's happening, but don't worry. We can see you. I can see you. You can see me. So let's go. You're looking beautiful. Oh my gosh. Absolutely What a beautiful outfit. You're going to tell us about that later on. First, just tell us about who are you? Where do you come from? What's your background? How did you end up here?
Okay, I'm Pumla Mkhize. That's my name. I am originally from KZN. I was born in Devon. And then eventually studied engineering. So I'm a professional civil engineer. And then I was dealing with life, the innuendos of life. And then eventually I found out about Ed Yoga Studio. And here I am, one of the trainers to be a yoga teacher. So yeah, basically that's the long and, oh, and I'm a mother of a 16-year-old. So yeah. So that is who I am.
Really quick introduction. Tell us more about how did you become a Sangoma and what is a Sangoma?
Okay. So it started, I can't really pinpoint when it started. I believe I was born, there's an aeroplane. I believe I was born to go through this path because it started when I was a child, where I would have weird dreams of being chased by lions or elephants or deja vu at some time, visions while I'm literally sitting with someone and I could see a story behind them, a vision of sorts, dreams, very weird dreams that would come alive. At that time, I didn't understand what it meant. And unfortunately, my family really didn't, they didn't promote that type of thinking at the time. It was through many difficulties that I met in life when I was older, when I went to go for a first consultation, because I wasn't, and what that means is I just felt so unsettled in my spirit. I knew there was something about me having these dreams and being so in love with touching grass and the ground and even picking up stones. I mean, this is one of the stones I've picked up. So I've been doing that as a child. It's only then that man explained to me that which means you are a child of the ancestors. You are supposed to be going through an ancestral journey where you get initiated to become Isangoma. So what is Isangoma? Isangoma in simple terms really is a diviner. It's a spiritual healer. It's someone who connects with the ancestral world. There are various ways of connecting with the ancestral world. My favorite, we light impepo, which in yoga terms would be incense, like your incense sticks. We have the wild grass that is impepo that we light. When we light it, then we are able to chant, light a candle, and then you can talk to your ancestors and sit in meditation. There are different types of Isangoma and there are different types of healers. African traditional healers. You have those who practice in umuti, those you would call your herbalists, for example. Their training really is all about being able to know what plant to use for whatever ailment that a person may have. You have those who go to the mountains and they listen to what is called abalozi, the voice that comes into their ears where they are able to then connect. You have those like myself who really my calling is more of one who has to heal using water. That is why from time to time I always go to that river. I won't mention it because I went to it, you know it, where really I have to go inside the water to almost revive and reconnect with my ancestors be immersed in this water and become grounded again. which really grounding is very important for Sangoma to be able to communicate with the ancestral world. Sangoma is a healer, and I think it's very relevant, especially with me going through the yoga teacher training, to realize that even as a yogi or someone who does yoga, your job really, more than the nice poses and everything, is to heal, is to give a message of hope, is to give yourself to other people. So that is what Sangomas are meant to be doing. We're supposed to be devoting ourselves not only to God and the ancestors, but to also the people who come into our space who require us to assist them. So that is...
Sounds like a yogi, right? It's very, very similar. So that's interesting, because when I was growing up, and I come from Protestant Christian background, I was always told, oh, Sangoma is a witch doctor, you know, and I was very fearful, you know, people would scare me away from it and saying, oh, they do black magic. I know you also from a Christian background. How was it as being young and having visions and otherworldly experiences from a, you know, in a culture like that? How was that experience? Let's jump back a little bit in the past. Tell us more. And that, did people resist your message? Did they resist this path that you want to go on? Tell us about that.
As I also grew up from a Christian background, and anyone, whether you are psychic or you're a diviner or you are anyone who's in touch with their clairvoyance, is demonized, really. And equally, when I was growing up, it was a topic to be unheard of. And I was in this space within myself, not understanding what is going on with me. Yes, society had said Izangoma are bad people there. So when I was at home, it's not an option, it wouldn't have been an option. So I was lucky when I got my emancipation, when I grew up and bought my own home. I could then set up my own rules. And I said, you know what, I need to know more about this journey. There must be more to it than just black magic. And that is one of the most painful things for me, when people associate Sangoma as this person who does black magic and who kills people, which is really not true. There are Sangoma that then end up tapping into that dark world. As people, we have the light in us, and then we have the dark in us. It's up to you to choose which path you want to go through. So my journey is not about the dark world and casting spells on people, because that will not serve me. That will not serve the higher divine power in me that created me. So my path is that of light, is that of healing. Yes, there are people who practice black magic. Let's be honest. There are Sangomas out there. We've had shameful stories of people using take children's body parts and doing all sorts of things. They do that. It happens. It happens. It's the reality of the world. But not all Sangomas are like that. And certainly my message to the world, or my practice, is really not about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the same with the yogis throughout the years. They've been demonized, and then they're the angels and the sages and the saviors, and then they go through a period, no, that like, don't trust those guys, they're a bit sketchy. Yeah, I guess that's how it goes. So tell me more. You were saying that you go out into nature. Is it also how we do in yoga, where we sit and meditate? Is it similar? Do you just become quiet and tune into your senses? Or is there a specific ritual, or is it different? Is it meditation? How, or do you want to go deeper into that? Explain to us what happens there.
So if I look back into what you've taught us, which is very good, one of the parts of yoga, which is bhakti, is about devotion. It's about being able to connect with God by devoting yourself. So every time I go to the river, it's really about that. I go there with my candle and my impepo incense.
You have to say, show us, show us.
I have it. It's burnt, but yeah, it's almost like a grass that we collect next to the river. So I will light up the candle, and then I will light up impepo, and then I will show you how I do it. After I've written the impepo, then I will take his snuff, and then I will. It's almost like a chanting where I call on all my guides. I'll call Gogo, Kabaze, Wena, Kuzwayo, Ban Ban Ban, Ngobo, Nan Nan Nan. So I'm summoning all the spiritual guides around me to come and join me in spirit, because obviously they are not here physically. And then I will go to the, when we are in the river, the sitting in silence, really around these candles. It depends. Sometimes idlozi or isithunywa or your guides, they will command how the meditation for the day becomes, or the ritual for the day becomes. Sometimes we could be sitting there while we're listening to nature and looking at the birds and the river, and we could be beating a drum, and we could be chanting, and then we could be sitanza, sitrenza, see while you are being immersed into this light, and you're connecting, and it doesn't necessarily only have to be silent. It can be anything. Sometimes it's silence, sometimes it's the drumming and the chanting, and almost like you are setting out or sending out a message out to the world, to the universe, a positive message. And you're praying for those who have come to you, with their issues, and you name all of them during that ritual where you are praying for them, and you're also in a way connecting with their ancestors as well, to come and join in with your ancestors to assist them in whatever they're going through. Good times.
It reminds me of when I did my Reiki initiation, and we connect with the spirit guide, and I guess when you're talking about ancestors, do you mean people within your family that have passed specifically?
Yes. So I believe, I don't know whether reincarnation would be the right word. You will correct me if I'm misusing it. I do believe that we come back as people who lived many years ago, who might have had a purpose that they needed to serve at that time, and they might not have. And you've come back to almost like rectify what they had not done. So what happens is, when I talk of idlozi, you get channeled by that spirit of that person, and that becomes the one that leads you, because you don't only have one idlozi. In my own training, I've been taught that we have generations and generations of people that are connected with us, but there'll be only one who's the leader, who will then channel you, who's the one who sends the messages to you, who's the one who's able to connect with other people to say, this is what this child is supposed to do. So I believe that you get channeled by someone who lived in your family many years ago. And I told you a story, not a story, one of my dreams where I had traveled back into, I think it was 1800, way back when women were still really, really surrendering to men. And I was wearing istwaba, you know, the traditional clothes. And I had this abusive husband as that woman in that dream. And I told you that eventually I managed to conquer him somehow. But it was a very dark place. It was around the 1800s, where women had no rights. And when I woke up, I said, oh my gosh, I've just traveled in time. And for me, that was so profound, to show that there are people who, from many, 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 many generations, are coming closer to me to send me their message. It could be that she needs me to perform a ritual for her to place her in peace, or maybe she's bringing a message to me that my calling is for helping women who are undergoing a lot of emotional issues. And one of the things I've realized with my path is that I'm drawn to women who have emotional baggage issues. I am drawn to women who are either in abusive relationships, or women who are trying very hard to survive. They are single parents. They don't have support. They are anxious. So those are the type of people who somehow come into my space, and those are the people that I find myself having to pray for and pray with. And the commonality is that I'm also a single parent. I've struggled with anxiety and not being able to get assistance. So yeah, I do believe that that is my purpose, to help women. And hence I traveled back in time and I saw this woman, and I believe she's one of my guides, to say, this is your purpose.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So in yoga, there's also this theme that always comes up of the warrior, and people have this misconception that yoga is namaste and holding hands and kumbaya, but actually when you read the ancient books, it's quite war. There's a lot of fighting, and it's about justice. So are there stories like that from the Sangoma culture?
For me, the war really that as a Sangoma you go through wouldn't necessarily be the bow and arrow physical war. It's the war within yourself. You need to find the warrior within yourself, because this practice requires you to be devoted. You need to be devoted. You need to, and I liked it when we talked about the 8 limbs, and one of them is restraint. You need to find yourself in a space where you can be restrained from things that can hinder your spiritual journey. Some of the people overindulge in things, but when you're going through this journey, you have to surrender some things. If I may, give some things up. I used to be a party girl, go to clubs. But when I then decided that this is who I want to really be and focus on, that part of my life could no longer serve me. That noise could no longer serve me. So you have to. It's a war within yourself. The war within yourself, or you need to be that warrior that says, "Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to wake up at 12 o'clock." 12 a.m. and go and do a certain ritual. That on its own is hard. Or on a Saturday where you could be sitting at home, I'm supposed to be in the mountain and spending the whole day in the mountain or in the river. It's a war within yourself. So it's dedication, and through that dedication, that is where I find the commonality, especially in Buddhist yoga, because as much as it's not a physical war where you're fighting bow and arrow, you are fighting the story inside yourself, the poison inside yourself that could be limiting you. So it's a war within yourself.
Yeah, for the yogi as well, it's the battle of the divided mind, as we call in Budokan second series. Yes, so I have heard in the past people talk about throwing the bones, and I'm so interested and curious about that. Is there like a prediction that you could look at our viewers today? If anybody wanted to comment in the bottom, could we do that? Or can you read my bones? No, you don't want to do anything like that. Is that not in the line of where you're heading? How does that work? I have no idea. School me.
So, throwing bones. Everyone associates Sangoma as this person who has bones, and they throw bones, and then they say this and that and that and that and that. And those bones, you don't just go and buy them. You get shown as you progress in your training that this is the bone and that is the bone. It's almost like it's a gift that you've been given. Certainly what has been strange for me is that the bones that I have been shown are really, I told you that I had a dream where I dreamt of a black and white crystal stone. And it so happened that you then introduced me to Stuart. I hope he doesn't mind me dropping his name. And when I went to him for a consultation about this crystal that I had been seeing in my dreams, he then explained to me that this is what your ancestors are giving you as a tool for you to be able to connect and also to be able to assist whoever comes to you. So if my bones are not the bones, I'm a crystal collector. I have a whole lot of them. Right now I'm wearing one. It's an Ezerite, and I have a few that I'm collecting. But what I'm trying to drive to is that we need to demystify this whole notion that all Zangomas do the same thing. We are not called on the same path. We are all here to do work, surrender ourselves to the world, but in the way that our ancestors want us to do it. Yeah. So I am still a scholar of the crystals, and I'm consulting the Stuart. He's teaching me a lot about that. I'm loving it. Yeah, I've collected a few. So yeah, he's teaching me about how.
So you can do a reading for us?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to be, what's the word? Because I am still learning about them as well. I wouldn't want to be irresponsible, because as part of our journey as being a yogi, also there's ethics. I can't just throw crystals while I'm still learning about them and mislead you. That wouldn't be my, I wouldn't allow myself to do that.
Okay. Well, I would love to offer myself as a guinea pig to practice on in the future. When lockdown is lifted, then maybe we can get together and you can read my crystals. I love that. It's much better than, can you read my bones? Can you read my crystals? How much better.
I would love that as well. I think I would love that as well. But I am still, like I've said, I'm still training in that. I'm still trying to understand why I'm drawn to certain stones. For example, I got drawn to a tiger eye, which I'm not wearing right now. And when I spoke to him that for some odd reason today, of all days, I had to wear this tiger eye. And something profound happened where someone was trying to bully me, ended up being the one seen by the world that, in fact, you are the bad person. So that day, the intuition in me, the divine in me said, wear this tiger eye stone today because you need this protection.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and the yogis wear the mala beads, and often also made out of crystals. So I definitely have to get Stuart on the show one week as well to talk about crystals. So that will be coming up soon. I just wanted to ask you about the sages. So in yoga, we have these many sages of the past that we look up to, and we have postures dedicated to the sages. So who in your culture do you remember and do you look up to?
May his soul rest in peace. Sanusi Ukredo Mutwa, who just passed away. I think he passed away just before a lockdown. He had dedicated his whole life in practicing, not only practicing as a Sangoma, and he wasn't a Sangoma, by the way, he was called Isanusi because he had graduated to that level of higher calling. And he wrote many philosophical books about the journey of Sangoma and how the Nguni tribes were meant to live. And one of the things that I love about him is that he he advocated for the power of a woman in this space, because women traditionally have always been looked down on, and he's one of those who came out and said, no, a woman holds a very high place in the divine world. A woman is very close to God. So yeah, so that is the sage that I hold close to my heart. May his soul rest in peace, and I hope he's doing the divine work, even in the other realm, yeah, the spiritual realm.
So do you also keep a picture of him? Do you burn a candle for him in the mornings or in the evenings? Is there like some ritual, or you just keep him in your heart?
I keep him here.
So the yogis, we set up like an altar, and we have pictures. Some people have of Jesus, and then there's a picture of Buddha, and like this mix. And then usually what you would do is you get up in the morning before the sunrise, and you burn your lamp. So in the Hindu culture, the woman would receive a lamp from her parent or her mom-in-law, her mother-in-law, and then you would light the lamp, and it's a Lakshmi's lamp, in the morning as the sun rises. And then, you remember, let's say your husband have passed away, you would have a picture of your husband there, or your sage, or, whoever it is that inspires you. And then, like say a prayer for them, or just sending love and light to them and their soul, wherever that may be. Okay, so I wanted to ask you something else. So in the future, since there are so many similarities between all cultures, all of our cultures really, everybody, no matter we are all the same. So how are you, because I can imagine that it must also be hard for people of color, and especially in South Africa, to now break into the yoga market and, be yoga teachers. And now at the same time, you had to go through that when you changed direction, when you became a Sangoma. I'm just interested in knowing, how are you going to blend and join the two in future? Am I putting you on the spot?
Very hard question. You just put me on the spot right there. You know what I've realized with, especially Black people, I've been posting a lot on one of the social media platforms where I've been talking about yoga. I even have a yoga diary. And one of the stories that keep coming up is that then it means you are bowing to Hindi gods. So one of the first tasks that I have is to break that stereotype. Is to show myself more as I am, and while practicing yoga, and also make people realize that yoga is not a religion. It's a spiritual journey. So you need to be within. You need to fight your own battles. Forget about religion. The reason why the world is so messed up is because of religion. So it's one of the ways that I need to break the stereotype within the Black community, because they totally misunderstand yoga. Right now I'm training in Vinyasa Flow, which, yeah, you are my teacher. So there are, there's a certain way of movement, and it comes with the practice. But in future, I would also like to incorporate some of the movements, take it from Vinyasa, but make it more like your African movement. For example, if I was doing a cat and cow, normally when we cleanser, we would go something like that when we are doing those rituals. So so you could turn a cat and cow, traditional cat and cow, and incorporate it and make it more African, so that people who then are Black can also relate and realize that, oh no, this is not just some practice that can be done by skinny white women. Unfortunately, that's what the world says. So that, so that is, right now, that is my plan, to demystify to show that even a Sangoma can practice yoga, to show that even our own dances that we grew up doing are part of yoga or can be incorporated into yoga. And let's all have fun and breathe.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't wait to attend one of your classes. That looks amazing. I'm very excited about that. And obviously, over time, you know, it's going to evolve and it's going to become. What are you going to call yourself now?
Right now I'm calling myself Yogi Khanyisa.
Okay.
And the reason, and in fact, this name is perfect because it infuses both worlds. Yogi, I'm training to become a yoga teacher, a yogi. I'm practicing yoga. Khanyisa actually is my spiritual name that I got from the ancestors when we were doing one of the rituals. What Khanyisa means, it means light up, enlighten. You know, when you light up a candle, we are Khanyisa. So that is my spiritual name, and hence my name is Yogi Khanyisa. That's what I'll be going for. Yeah.
So are you going to change your Instagram account to Yogi Khanyisa then, and that's where people can look for you? Because I think it's called something else right now. Okay, so you're going to change the name.
I think
and then
so.
I can find you at Yogi Khanyisa. Okay.
I think that is what I need to do so that I can also attract the people who are really interested in that, rather than having some account where people who have certain agendas that do not talk to me. Yeah, so I'll be catering for that market. Yeah, I'll be catering.
So people can find you at Yogi Khanyisa.
Not today, please. I still need to set it up. I'm not there yet.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us? Any advice for abused women, since you were saying that is what you're drawn to? So maybe let's start there. Any message for abused women perhaps watching now or that's going to be seeing this?
Yeah, my message is that when you go through abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, or any form of abuse, it hampers, it dents your self-esteem to a point that you feel like you don't have hope in the world, or if you were to speak to someone, then you will be shamed. Uzobukelwa phansi, uzahlekwa in Zulu, meaning you'd be made a mockery of. It's about time women realize that they have rights in this country. It's about time women realize that they have power. It's about time women realize that they are even closer to God, the divine power. It's about time they realize that it doesn't help to be in that space by yourself, in that dark corner. You need to find someone to talk to. You need to almost like purging or get this negative story out of your system, because it hampers you, it weighs you down, it doesn't serve you, it blocks you from moving forward with your life. So yeah, women need to just come out more and not be afraid to get out of these abusive relationships. I know it sounds as if I'm saying people are just sitting there. No, I don't think anyone would want to sit in a relationship and allow themselves to be abused. But certainly, we need to love ourselves. Put yourself first. Love yourself first. And that is one of the things that yoga has taught me, is that we have the poisons of the hearts that we have inside of us, the stories of I'm not good enough, I'm not, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that. Through practicing, especially when we get into meditation, Shavasana, where we let go of these stories, it helps. It removes the weight of you start receiving more positive stories. You're breathing inside yourself a positive story. And then with time, it becomes a self-affirmation to yourself that, no, I am actually good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's where it starts is when you're in an abusive relationship. And I know I was there too many years ago. But that's the first thing that happens is your support group gets cut off. And usually the woman then withdraws in because she feels ashamed, don't want anybody to know what's happening. And usually with physical abuse is the words, you know, the verbal abuse, and that breaks down your self-esteem. Every day you hear those words, and it chips away and it chips away and it chips away. And if we have a practice like yoga, absolutely, as you say, little bit by little bit, we get that inspiration. We start believing in ourselves. And yes, start loving ourselves. And so more and more it becomes embodied until we get the guts. We're strong enough to pick up our luggage and you walk out.
Yeah.
Tell someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you wanted to share with me? Anybody watching, if you have last questions for us or anything else that you wanted to know?
One thing I want to share is that I don't believe in coincidences. The timing of me accepting my calling, it came with a lot of wars within myself, to a point that including other things that were happening at my workspace, I got to a point where I can say I was depressed. I was going through depression. And then I stumbled upon at yoga, and then I came to one class, and the story though inside me was still there. I wasn't ready at the time. And then I just vanished and didn't show up again for a few months. But then something in me drew me back to the studio, and I went back, and ever since I've never looked back. And I can tell you that I no longer get anxiety attacks on the road, because I used to get panic attacks while driving. I'm not perfect, but certainly the more I practice, the more my confidence also has been picked up. Yeah, and the other thing that it goes back to what you were saying, that how am I going to also make more people attracted to yoga? Other things that people other misconception out there is that only tiny people can do yoga. Big people cannot do yoga. So I've started on the side teaching, trying to practice, obviously, teaching big people, people of bigger, physique, to show them that yoga is not really about this flexible pose. Let's first start working with you. Let's build your self-confidence, and let's work with the emotions, and then it builds up, and then the pose with time will appear. Yeah.
Beautiful. My son is distracting me here with his math homework. Wait, Caleb. Oh my gosh.
Can I say hi to him?
Please wait. Okay, we're about, I think that's a sign from the universe. Your hour is done now. Thank you.
My hour done.
He just wants to show you his
It's beautiful.
Check it now.
I'm sending my love from my heart.
Thank you so much for joining us, Phumla, and for, I think I was in such a rush earlier and I was stressing and not sure if you're going to make it online. And I never even welcomed you. So, welcome.
So since you didn't welcome me, can I then close it in my own way that incorporates yoga and my way of doing things? So in yoga, we would have our hand to chest, heart center, and we will thank the divine in ourselves for showing up and appreciating the fact that we are here, we made it. And then we will end it by saying namaste.
Yes.
And then as a Sangoma, I will then say to you, Togoza Gogo.
Tokosa.
Togoza Gogo.
Tokosa.
Togoza.
Tokosa Gogo.
Yes. Which means it's the same thing. I'm saying I'm seeing the divine in you. Togoza means happy. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy to be with you, and I'm wishing you luck. I'm sending you a mantra of luck and happiness in your life. So Togoza.
Tokosa Gogo. Thank you so much, Pumla. I've learned so much today. And I really hope that more people will open their perceptions and opinions, not just about yogis, but also Sangomas, and realize that, you know, the similarities between our cultures, and especially here in South Africa, and being, ourselves in each other. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing with us. Oh, I was going to ask, are you going to come up with your own Sangoma Yogi clothing brand? I also see something like that coming. Yes, very exciting. You don't want to say anything about it? Okay.
Yeah, definitely what I'm wanting to, I definitely want to wear a yoga outfit but still have prints that I can relate to. Definitely. Watch out for the Yogi Khanyisa yoga outfit line, if I may call it that. Yeah.
Yes. Yogi Khanyisa yoga pants coming soon. I can't wait.
Yeah.
About the future. I see so many beautiful things coming. Wishing you well, wishing you beautiful things. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, everyone. And we'll see you again next week for Earth Hour.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.